Read Out Loud podcast. I am Professor G. This is episode 59. It is called Shut the Hell Up. We're solving a business problem. This is a continuation and a culmination of the three-part conversation that I'm having with my buddy Drew Harnish. Kevin Meredith is again guest hosting on this episode. And we're going to cover a little bit of ground here. We're going to cover data and process and even get into a little bit of AI. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't already, go check out lolworkshop.com. That's where I've got all kinds of additional resources related to leadership development, as well as links to my YouTube channel. So I'd love it if you'd head over there and give that a subscribe as well. Enjoy episode 59. Shut the hell up. We're solving a business problem. Here we go.
I use ChatGPT. I think you gotta. I was talking about this with my client, one of them, about he had not used any of the AI stuff, ChatGPT. I cracked some joke about ChatGPT in our conversation of something. He was like, "Okay, can you educate me on that?" And I was like, "Sure." I'm not an expert, but I can. But I did ask ChatGPT how it worked and went meta.
There we go, full circle.
So I know that answer. So yeah, so joking aside, we pulled out the laptop and we started having, interrogating it on, the best practices of composites and metallics and airframes and yada, 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 yada. And, and then we start asking it about the solar eclipse and how that works. This was right around there's a big eclipse here in Texas. I mean, everybody heard that, right? But I don't know, maybe not California as much. But that was like a huge event here. So we what else we asked it? A whole bunch of weird stuff. I had it write a haiku. I'm trying to remember what it was about. Anyway, so just showing him what it can do. And my point was, he was like, "So does this replace stuff?" And I was like, "No, because it's really bad at a lot of things. Math in particular. It's really bad at math. Like basic arithmetic error kind of math, because it learns from text, not from
rules.
Doing calculations.
Right.
At least ChatGPT and the underlying AI stuff in there. But so I was like, I use it as an accelerator because I know what I want. I know what I'm pretty good at. And I know, so for certain things where I need some help brainstorming, or I've brainstormed a list of things and I want to pressure test my thinking and hey, what am I not thinking of here? There's a balance between have it help create some content that I tailor, or take content that I did and add 20% to it that I didn't think of, that's value add. That's both. So it's, I was like, but if you don't know the subject matter, you can get hoodwinked by the AI that thinks it's smarter than you. And then if you go present that to somebody who knows what they're talking about, they're going to throw the BS flag. And so use it, but use it with caution, right? If the response you get back is bogus because you're expecting it to look like this and it looks way different, you can challenge ChatGPT back with a prompt and say, "Hey, check your math because this looks wrong." And it's like, "Oh, thanks for the correction. I've you are right. I made this error and that's fixed." And it's like, okay, well, really? It was 2 times 8. How'd you mess that up?
Well, or I've had I've tried to get it to help me with grading. More as an experiment to see what the feasibility was, proof of concept. Because if I can get that working right, then boy, talk about a force multiplier. But it struggled with things like word count, and so I would have it evaluate a piece of writing from a student, and then give me the score, and I've got. To your point, I've got what I know is truth over here on this screen, and I've got what ChatGPT is coming back with. And this over here is telling me that it's 1,700 words, and ChatGPT says it's 1,249. And so I'll ask it, can you double check the word count? And it'll go, oh, my apologies. Yeah, that was not correct. And then it'll come up with 1342.
Totally different number, and it's like, well, what's the basis of you? Like, what do you?
How are you counting words?
That's right. Are you leaving? Yeah, there's some. Is it like 3-letter words or more, or like is it a multiply? So yeah, and when I get in those situations with it, I just ask it like, what's the basis for your assumption here or for your math here, and it'll explain it, and I'll be like, okay, this is wrong. Change this to this, and then like, okay, cool, interesting.
So this podcast is actually sponsored in part by the LOL Lounge, which is a great place for engineers and other professionals to go to learn things like how to use AI and not be an idiot. Because that is, in all seriousness, I've started putting a collection of content together that's sort of a hybrid between what I would teach to students in graduate school and also what I talk to people about like this. And AI is going to be the next module because I've had enough conversations with people where I'm like, okay, maybe I do know a little something about a little something. And Drew, it's kind of like what you just described. You're talking to somebody who's undoubtedly a very accomplished professional that has never even used any of the language AI models and doesn't understand what they're capable of and what their limitations are. And I mean, that's become easy peasy for me now. And it's very easy for me, though, to look at all the sources that I pay attention to and think, well, I'm no expert on ChatGPT or any of the language AI. But it turns out, as I just said, I do know a thing or two about a thing or two, to steal from our friends at Farmers. So yes, for anybody interested in that, go to, I don't even remember the website address.
Great, we'll put it in the show notes.
In later. LOLworkshop.com, that's the one. Sign up for the LOL Lounge. It's interesting, though. It's interesting, the things that it's really good at and the things that it's not very good at. And it's all about the prompting and how well you utilize it, just like any other tool.
To me, that's for people like me who are not. I can use technology, but I can't create technology. Like, and I probably could if I did. I don't like.
That's why I didn't make it as a double E.
I don't like to create and write code and do software. I have utmost respect for people that do that for a living. That is not fun for me. I had a bad experience in college with programming, and ever since then, it's been dead to me.
What language was it?
Okay, well,
it was. And ever since then, I'm just like, I'm not interested in coding. Now Excel, I'm probably like, I have a buddy who says he's the last Excel wizard. I'm probably the second to last Excel wizard. So yeah, formulas and logic and prompting and like that kind of stuff. I think, back to the ChatGPT as my quick aside on no code, but those interfaces like that are becoming more prevalent everywhere. I noticed, when was I yesterday? I did a search. I did a Google search, which I do all the time, looking for stuff.
I just got an update on this thing.
Instead of search results, at the top it put up, here's an AI summary of this, and then it had the search results. I was like, huh, and that was yesterday. I never noticed that before. So everything, Facebook, everything's rolling, putting AI into more things, and so that's gonna the people that are experts, I think, at using the prompts and using the software to their advantage, there's going to be a whole new value generated by who's the best prompter.
Yeah.
But that will last 0.2 seconds until the AI prompts itself.
Yep.
And then I hate the overuse of engineer when it's not an actual, and so this idea of prompt engineering, I can't stand that. And as three engineers here talking on
sales engineer, not sales engineer.
Exactly. Come on now.
Come on.
Agreed.
We can have. There's some fun ones.
Before I hit the stop button, because I know we all have other things to do. Is the story interesting, Drew? You said you had a bad experience with coding, and I feel like
not really.
How do you have a bad experience with coding? What the hell does that even mean?
Not really. The short version is this is a freshman level Intro to computer programming class. I'm in college, freshman, never seen code
And
before.
I think you're younger than me, so it's probably not C+.
No, this was Java. This was circa 2004, 5. Anyway, so I know nothing about code and syntax, and we're going through stuff, and I'm like, ah. So I'm going to office hours, and I'm asking the TA, and I'm trying to be a good student, and learn stuff. Um, anyway, so we had to write a Sudoku, a problem that would solve a Sudoku in Java, and toward the end of the semester, a whole bunch of the class, like I'm talking like 30, 40 people, out of over I don't know, 200 person class. This is a big class, big intro class. Probably 30 or 4 of us. We get called into the professor's office, all as a group, and he goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you're all going to flunk the class because we're taking you to the academic misconduct board." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, Eagle Scout, right? And I'm like, "What academic misconduct? Like what?" And so somebody's like, "Well, why?" And he goes, "Like all your programs look the same. They're very similar." And I'm looking around like I don't even know. Like I know 2 of the people in here. Don't even know any of these other people. And they're like, "Yeah," and somebody like, and I'm sitting there going like freshman, scared, like what? And somebody has the gusto to say like, "What? What do you mean they're the same? Of course they look the same. They're all supposed to do the same thing. They're all solving a Sudoku problem." Like, and he was like, "Yeah, but y'all obviously cheated and like wrote the code together." And I'm like, "The what?" Like, I don't even know these people. So ever since then, he was like, "You can either all take an F,
What's behind door number 2?
or yeah," he's like, or and we all walk away, or we'll take you to the academic misconduct board if you want to fight me on this. And I was like, F it, I'll take the F. Like I'm just dealing with this stuff, like because who knows what kind of leverage this professor has, and I don't know him, and I'm just starting out, and I don't have time for this. So I took it again, I don't know, a year later, and had a different professor and a different experience, and made a B in the class, and hated programming the whole time. I was like, I just got to get through this damn thing, so I never have to write code ever again. So what a great way to inspire people to something that's actually really important. Yeah.
I mean, is this like a IE thing? Because I personally don't enjoy programming. Sean, how about you?
No.
I don't know.
I mean, like part of the job being
also,
an IE, right, is like getting out onto the factory and talking to people and solving. I mean, not.
Yeah, I'm much more of a knuckle dragging, IE type, people person, than computer person. I use computers. I use the prompt. I'm a big fan of like the math side of analytics, not the data side, but the what assumptions do you need to make in the model to get the thing to work right? You think of the Little's law and queuing and simulations and that type world. Like I'm a huge fan of that kind of problem solving, but not the code associated with it, but the assumptions and the math. Like to me, that's the secret, right? The code is interesting, and I don't want to downplay. People are going to watch this and be like, "You hate programmers." I'm like, no, I don't want to downplay the importance of that, of getting the data and extracting it, and all the complexity that goes along with trying to make sense of information that companies have never been able to access before. But like, that's to me, that's infrastructure, right?
Yes.
And that's critically important. But like, what you do with that, that's like saying electricity is not important. Like, no, we need electricity, but like, if we didn't have that, there wouldn't be computers and there wouldn't be. And so to me, like the analytics that stack on top that help you make the decisions are far more impactful or visible, maybe is a better way to say it, to businesses than the code itself. But you kind of need all that together. And so to me, that's the beauty of things like IE is like you want to combine, the people who like that, the one side with the people who like the other side. And if you can find, a lot of people like to have holy wars over this stuff. Oh, you got to have data and you got to have like, oh no, it's all about process. I've been on multiple teams at 3 different companies that have had holy wars over, is data more important or is process more important? And my response is yes, shut the hell up. We're trying to solve a business problem. We're all should be part of the solution, right? And not everybody agrees on it, which is fascinating. But anyway, there's a good soapbox story of, to this day, that's why I don't like programming. But I do think data is important, and there you go. Now you know why.
How about Sudoku? Do you enjoy Sudoku out of that?
I've played it. It's okay. Yeah, I can play some Sudoku.
It didn't burn you on that.
No.
One could argue that was
It's the logic. I like the logic, but not the
that was a bad experience. That was a bad university experience that happened to involve software programming.
Yeah. Also,
but it is more. I think we'll get higher ratings if we call it a software.
sure.
Let's see. We could go with software shenanigans. There, some alliteration.
There you go.
There's the name of this episode: software shenanigans.
Professor's no longer there, by the way. So okay, probably not the best way to inspire learning.
Well, all right. With that, first of all, let me get it on the record, Drew. Thank you for spending some time with us and sharing your wisdom and your wit and your trauma.